I enlisted in the United States Army in 1995. I went in after college. I wanted to serve right out of high school. In fact, I had a letter when I was 10 years old that I was trying to enlist, apparently, and I received a letter back from the Marine Corps saying, talk to us in 8 years. But again, I had two uncles who were active duty, an aunt who was the first female Command Master Chief for the United States Navy, and so my family served. I have a grandfather who served in World War II, and just that sense of honor and duty. And I wanted to enlist right away out of high school, but had the option to go to the university, so I went. And also my mom was dying of cancer. She loved her brothers dearly, and they had both been on active duty their entire life, multiple tours of Vietnam, and she'd asked me not to serve because she, mom doing what moms do. And I honored her wishes until she passed, and so I graduated from college and enlisted that next summer. And the combat unit, engineer unit we were tied to, we were doing quite a bit in the villages throughout all of Iraq. We covered pretty much every corner of the country. And in fact, when the Italian compound was hit in November of 2003, we were just blocks away when that compound was hit by a car bomb. It killed upwards of 35 of the Italian forces that were there. We had been working closely with the local Iraq populace and setting up schools and clinics, helping with force protection of the Italian, of the Korean forces. The Republic of Korean Special Forces were in country. And we were just blocks away when that compound was hit. And a number of IEDs had hit our vehicles. Fortunately, none of them were close enough, or if you want to call an IED a dud when it goes off, but ultimately it was more of a dud of an IED and didn't have the mass blast as what many should have had, fortunately for us. Yeah, we're very fortunate. I mean, we brought everybody home after our first deployment, and so of 124 soldiers, and there were some injuries that were not combat related that sent a few soldiers home early, but there's no question we were close many times, and call it luck, call it skill, call it just wasn't your day, and you just keep going. You drive on and continue to do the mission. I was injured in Iraq, and that ended up ending my military service. I should still be in. It's what's called the Military Medical Review Board, and spinal cord injury, nothing to write home about. Just it's an injury that spinal cord is an injury that you have to take very seriously, and so my ability to deploy anymore was non-existent. And so if you're not deployable, you really are not a soldier. Vehicle hit a structure, and it was surrounding a situation where the driver lost control of the vehicle, and and just injured. I mean, I got out and I dropped instantaneously. I didn't realize what had happened. And some of the guys I was with thought I got shot because I dropped so quickly, and I said, "I'm fine." But you realize if you've never been shot before, you know what that feels like. And so it ended up, realizing now after the MRIs and everything, it's just a blown out spinal cord back injury. To serve is a very selfless act. You have to have that sense of purpose, and it's not just about going to war and wearing the uniform. It's what's behind the uniform. It's what's beneath the fabric. And I saw that with so many of the soldiers that I served with. I served with some of the most amazing individuals I'll ever meet in my life. Were in that unit, and they were 19 and 20-year-olds. They were 25-year-olds. I saw them making decisions in a split second that they could have easily lost their life, but they made the decision to protect the innocent. In fact, with the current ISIS scenario, there's a lot of areas I'm familiar with that we were at, and you wonder if of those people that we worked with, the good people, the Iraqis that we were working with, are they still here? And I have no way of knowing that. But they're no different than us. They want freedom. They want safety. They want to be able to have their children go to school and learn and be safe. And it's horrific what's happening today, because of knowing the accomplishments that we had made with a lot of these local Iraqis. And that's the hardest part today for me, is seeing that country being torn apart again. Well, I'd like to argue serving in the military, in the armed forces, didn't really change me that much, because I've always felt like it was something that was part of me. However, going into combat is always going to change you. You may not recognize it or you may not acknowledge it, but it changes you. Just being fearful. I mean, if anybody says they were never afraid in various situations, they're lying to you, because you can be the toughest individual in the room, but it's still scary. What's most scary or the most frightful events are those that you don't know. You don't know what's around the next curve. You don't know what's going to happen next. And it can either paralyze you and not let you make decisions or keep moving on a daily basis, or you just live with it. And I think when you come home from that and you live in fear that long, and this is something that's impacted all generations, it was called different things over time, but you come back and you realize you're a different person in alertness. Driving through the Marquette interchange, I didn't drive for 3 months. We were advised not to, and fortunately I didn't. And I still remember driving through the Marquette interchange, which is a very busy intersection, and I could tell you what every driver, what every assistant person, or person in the passenger side, what was in the back seat, what was in the window of every car that was around us, going both directions, just because you become incredibly alert, and you have to, because if you get lazy or you lose that ability to be extremely alert, it could kill you, and you carry that with you for if not months, years.